Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. This is Living in Morris County. Today I'm at the most eastern portion of the Columbia Trail situated in Washington Township, otherwise known as Long Valley, New Jersey. And today I'm going to be taking you on this 16.5-mile journey all the way to Hybrid, showing you the sights and scenes along the way and why I personally think this is Long Valley's main attraction. So buckle up those chin straps and come along for the ride. Let's go. My name's Kevin Saum. Each week I bring you videos about moving to or around Morris County and the surrounding areas. So if that's why you came here today, make sure you give this video a like, hit that notification bell, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of the content that I'm dropping each and every week. I'm also a licensed real estate agent in the state of New Jersey. And as much as I like making these videos, ride my bike on the Columbia Trail, I love even more to help my clients close deals on their dream homes in Morris County and the surrounding areas. So that number is popping up below. Feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I cannot wait to help you do the same exact thing. So just to provide you with some context of how the Columbia Trail came about, it used to be an old abandoned railroad bed that transported iron ore to different foundries across Morris County. In 1987, the Columbia Gas Transmission Company purchased the railroad bed to build out their natural gas pipeline corridor. And it wasn't until 1998 when they donated the surface rights of this railroad bed and their pipeline corridor to the Morris and Hunterdon County Parks Commission to make this trail what it is today. So I'm actually headed towards my favorite, the Coffee Potter, which sits right along this Columbia Trail. So enjoy some of the sights and scenes along the way that we're gonna see on our way there. And we're probably gonna stop at one of the neighborhoods that's walkable to this trail in Long Valley. So stay tuned. So what can you do on the trail besides ride your bike? So as I mentioned, it's a very flat trail. So depending on your ability level, just simply walking on the trail is a great option. I've passed countless walkers on my ride so far. You can also go for runs. It's a great trail to train on if you're training for a half marathon, Ironman, because it is so flat. You could always do it down and back, and it's very tree covered. So on a hot summer day, you're not getting pelted by the sun. So in terms of climate and temperature, it's a great option as well. There's also some equestrian riders that I see coming through here on, some horses. So that's another activity that people tend to do, not as frequent, but every once in a while you'll see a horse at the Coffee Potter drive-through window. It's another option, but you definitely gotta watch out for the horse poop on the trail. Every once in a while, there's some piles. So just something to keep an eye out for. In the winter, on occasion, I see people cross-country skiing. I see their tracks in the snow. So really all times of the year, there's something to do on the trail. Fat tire bikes in the winter. So it's really a great, outdoor activity for anyone who lives in Long Valley. And I mentioned previously in Long Valley, if you don't like going outside, you're probably gonna be bored. So this is definitely Long Valley's main attraction, in my opinion. I grew up riding on these trails my whole childhood. I'm on Norwright Road right now, which is heading towards the mountain, as the Long Valley people like to call it. And I'm gonna head towards a neighborhood. I just hopped off the trail real quick. Neighborhood that is Fieldstone Drive. So this is a walkable neighborhood. You might even have the trail in your backyard if you were to buy a house in this neighborhood. So I'm just gonna pop in here, get some B-roll so you can kind of see the houses that you're looking at in this neighborhood, and then we'll continue on the trail. Maybe see some horses. I've made my way back to the Columbia Trail. I'm gonna take a little break over here so you can take a look at some of those horses I was telling you about. See? I don't wanna get too close because it's private property, but. So there's some horses along the way. Sometimes you'll see them on the trail. As I mentioned, watch out for their poop.
Hey.
Right off of Fairview Road, there is a little trailhead that you can actually walk up to Schooley's Mountain Park, which has some other hiking trails that are a little bit more advanced than the Columbia Trail, which is relatively flat. There's a scenic overlook up there, but if you're in for more of a challenge, there's a little parking lot off of Fairview, or you can just come right off the trail, walk up the hill and head up to Schooley's Mountain Park. Almost at the Coffee Potter, but I'm actually gonna stop at my favorite fishing spot growing up before we get there. Currently at my favorite fishing spot growing up. There's a little bridge here. This is where the water kind of slows down. There's a big pool, and I just remember there being some dinosaur trout in here, which, by the way, fishing is another thing that you can do on the Columbia Trail. Make sure that you get a fishing license, because there are, you know, the game wardens that come around. Make sure you have your license. They do stock with trout throughout the spring season, and it is, every once in a while you'll see someone fly fishing over here, but this is probably my favorite part of the Columbia Trail and the south branch of the Raritan River, which is what the trail runs along pretty much the entire way. It amazes me how many people don't wear helmets. Helmets are cool, come on. So now I'm coming up on Fraser Industrial Complex, which is, I would say, probably one of the bigger companies in Long Valley. If not the biggest. It's probably safe to say that it is the biggest. So as you can see, it runs along the trail as well. We're almost at the Coffee Potter. We're almost there. Just before we get to the Coffee Potter, there's also another walkable neighborhood, which is actually a 55 and older townhome community over here. So obviously these townhomes are walkable to the Columbia Trail and to the Coffee Potter. So be right there, we'll grab a little snack, and then we'll get on our way again. So I finally made it to the Coffee Potter, which I think is the highlight of Long Valley. It sits right on the Columbia Trail. Looks like middle school just got let out and all the kids are lining up outside the Coffee Potter to grab a snack after school. And on the weekends, this place is packed. Generally every chair here is filled with someone who's walking their dog, taking a break from their bike ride or something of the sort. The line around the parking lot for cars going through the drive-through is always a very efficient operation. They move through them pretty quick. But fun fact is this building actually used to be an old bank that they converted into a coffee shop. So let's head in there, we'll grab a snack, and then we'll get back on the road. So I just got my go-to Coffee Potter order, blueberry muffin, glazed with a little sugar. Then to add to the sugar, I go with the frozen chai latte, which on this bike ride I'm not gonna be able to carry, so I'm gonna have to suck this down pretty quick. Let's see how long I could take before I get brain freeze. So let me crush these real quick and we'll get back to the road. Now we're heading west towards Califon. There's a deer on the trail coming up. I'm sure it's gonna run away by the time I get up there, but if it's still here, I'll try to flip the camera around real quick. Not afraid at all. So friendly wildlife around here. Not sure if the bears are as friendly, but at least we know the deer are friendly. A couple things that I like to mention to people. If people are asking me where to ride their bikes in Morris County, I often tell them the Columbia Trail because it's flat and relatively doable for most ability levels. But if you're trying to make a day of it, especially in the fall, hit up Ort Farms or go to the cider mill or go to Allseed Farm, do your fall activity, get some exercise on the Columbia Trail by going for a walk, hit up the coffee potter. You know, there's plenty to do to make a whole day of it by just coming to Long Valley or this area. Hit up the shops in Chester. And as far as restaurants go, they're not too far away from the coffee potter and the downtown. There's a little restaurant kind of complex with a seafood restaurant, a Mexican restaurant, and a restaurant called the Brew Pub, which this time of year, especially on a day like today, they've got this outdoor patio. It's really beautiful. A lot of times they have live music. Pretty standard food, you know, nothing that's that you're gonna write home about, but gets the job done, and a great atmosphere and a great place to re-energize and kind of relax after a nice bike ride, walk, run, whatever you might be doing on the Columbia Trail. So like I said, we're heading towards Califon, and along the way there's gonna be some more bridges and other things to look at. There's some Clydesdale horses we're gonna see. There's also a kind of like a plant and shrub nursery that has a cool aesthetic as well on our way to Califon and that downtown. So enjoy the B-roll along the way, and we'll see you in Califon. Cool old cars. Here's some of that horse poop I was telling you about. Gotta keep an eye out. It's big. So I just took a little break in a parking lot that's along the Columbia Trail in between downtown Long Valley and downtown Califon. Technically, I'm still in Washington Township or Long Valley right now. This is one of my favorite spots on the trail, partially because there's usually always a parking spot here, and on the weekend, sometimes the parking lots in downtown Long Valley are a little overcrowded. It's hard to find a spot. But also I've got like a little nursery farm to my left. Here's a lot of that poop I was telling you about that you gotta watch out for. But the reason why there's so much poop over here is because there's actually a Clydesdale farm over here to my right. And it looks like they're actually giving some sort of lesson right now. So this is another great spot along the Columbia Trail on our way to Califon. Hey look, I made some friends. Hey guys. Have a good day. awesome. Just got to meet all the Clydesdales at Willow Grove Farm in technically Washington Township, on our way to Califon, but I'll get some other shots of the cool farm across the street as well with the drone. All right, so I'm coming through downtown Califon right now, which is a town in Hunterdon County. So it's Morris County and the surrounding areas, like I talk about. So I got an old railroad station right behind me that used to, be a station along this railroad bed when they were transporting iron to the different facilities across Morris County. And they did have some passenger trains come along this route, so that might have been what that station was for. Now, Califon has a little bit less going on than Long Valley, which isn't saying much because Long Valley doesn't have a whole lot going on, but there are some shops and restaurants in downtown Califon, some boutique stores, but not like a destination shopping or restaurant area. I would say Long Valley has a little bit more going on in that sense. So there are some historic houses in downtown Califon that are definitely walkable. You can even see kind of behind me, there's some houses that are along the trail here. So there's definitely houses that are walkable to the trail. So if you're big into training for whatever, running or Ironmans, you can literally walk out your door along River Road here and get back to your training. So I'm still making my way over to Highbridge, should be there in about 30 minutes. So enjoy some of the B-roll that I catch along the way. Who says that dinosaurs don't exist? A couple things to note. I've been riding on this trail all the way since Long Valley, and I'm getting towards, the last quarter of the trail, and there's constant traffic and people, you know, really utilizing and enjoying the trail. And even I saw someone walk to the back of their house, like to their backyard, to get to the trail along River Road, you know, in these houses in Califon. So definitely some cool spots out here to take a look at if you're thinking about Morris County or also the surrounding areas. So the Columbia Trail is split pretty evenly, 8 miles and 8 miles between Morris County and the Hunterdon County sections. I will say that the Hunterdon County section might be slightly more challenging, is that there's a slight incline depending on what way you're traveling, and I'm traveling towards Highbridge. There's a slight incline, definitely more treacherous terrain. To my right, it's like a little cliff down to the river, so not that you have to be worried about falling unless you're doing something stupid, but it's just something to note that if you are just getting into biking or cycling, you know, you might want to maybe ease yourself into the Hunterdon County section. So this bridge that I just crossed over is called the Gorge Bridge, and actually in 1885, when the railroad was still being utilized, there's actually a crash on this bridge with the train, which obviously didn't end very well. But this is also a place now where people get off their bikes or off the trail and kind of wander down towards the river just to get a little extra scenery in. It's a little cliff getting down there, so be careful. Someone looks like they just lost a shoe that was left over there on the fence, so hopefully they are okay and just forgot about their shoe. There are some steep cliffs on this Hunterdon County side. It's hard to tell right now, but it's steep. So make sure you're paying attention out here. Again, I wouldn't say it's dangerous, but it's definitely a little precarious if you're not paying attention. Hello. Thank you so much.
No problem.
All right, so I just finished my ride. I'm at the end of the trail in the westernmost part of the Columbia Trail in Highbridge. I actually heard the NJ Transit train pulling into the station because it is the furthest west station that NJ Transit has to offer. It does have limited availability and limited schedule. Doesn't run on the weekends, but it can get you to New York City in about 2 hours or so. So just to kind of recap the ride here, I started in Long Valley. It's about 16 miles. So if you're gonna turn around, it'd be about a 32-mile ride. And just want to give you a little peep of downtown Highbridge. There's a few shops and restaurants. I know there's a popular coffee shop. I see a little ice cream shop down here as well. But you know, if the Columbia Trail seems like it's something that's right down your alley, obviously I saw people walking their dogs, pushing strollers, riding their bikes, fishing. Don't tell about my secret fishing spot. There's plenty of things to stop along the way. That Clydesdale farm was incredible. I couldn't believe that they just walked right up next to me and allowed me to pet their heads. But I had a great time. If you want to enjoy the Columbia Trail and what Morris County has to offer, I just want to remind you that I am a licensed real estate agent in the state of New Jersey, and I love making these videos and riding the Columbia Trail. I've been doing it since I was a little kid. But nothing gets me more fired up than closing deals for my clients on their dream homes in Morris County and the surrounding areas. So that number's popping up below. Feel free to give me a call, shoot me a text, or send me an email, and I cannot wait to help you do the same. Till next time, guys, hope you enjoyed.